Blades of Fire is a third-person action-adventure game that tries to stand out with one strong idea. Your weapon is not just loot, it is something you forge, shape, repair, and rely on. In a genre filled with fantasy combat and heavy melee action, that blacksmithing focus gives the game a clear identity. You play as Aaron de Lyra, a warrior and blacksmith in a world where Queen Nerea has cursed steel and turned it into stone. That story setup connects directly to the gameplay because weapons are at the center of the entire experience. Instead of constantly picking up random gear, you collect materials, discover forge scrolls, and craft weapons that fit different situations. The core gameplay loop is simple but satisfying. You explore dangerous areas, fight enemies, gather resources, forge new weapons, and test them in combat. Different weapon types change how you approach fights, including faster blades, heavier weapons, spears, and more technical options. This gives the game more variety than a basic hack-and-slash system. Combat is slower and more deliberate. You need to think about timing, positioning, durability, and which weapon works best against each enemy. The directional attack system adds a tactical layer because you are not just pressing one attack button over and over. When it works, fights feel weighty and rewarding. That said, the combat may not click with everyone. Some players may find it a little stiff or strict, especially if they prefer fast, fluid action games. Blades of Fire asks for patience, and careless attacks can be punished quickly. Exploration is also a big part of the game. The world encourages you to find paths, shortcuts, materials, and upgrades. It has a more old-school action-adventure feeling, which can be enjoyable if you like slower exploration. However, the pacing can sometimes feel uneven, and some backtracking may not appeal to every player. Visually, Blades of Fire has a solid dark fantasy style. The environments, armor, enemies, and weapons all fit the world well. It may not be the most visually impressive action game out there, but the art direction is strong enough to give it personality. The sound design supports the combat nicely. Weapon hits feel heavy, enemy sounds are clear, and the music gives the game a serious fantasy atmosphere. The story is interesting enough to support the adventure, but it is not the strongest part of the game. The forging system and combat are much more memorable than the plot itself. The main strengths are the unique weapon forging system, the tactical melee combat, the variety of weapons, and the strong fantasy identity. The main weaknesses are the uneven pacing, occasional stiffness, and exploration that can sometimes feel slow. For value, Blades of Fire is best for players who enjoy challenging third-person action games, weapon crafting, and slower, more deliberate combat. If you like games where your gear choices actually matter, there is a lot to appreciate here, but if you want constant fast-paced action, this may feel a bit heavy. Final verdict, Blades of Fire is a flawed but interesting action-adventure game with a memorable forging system and satisfying tactical combat. It has some rough edges, but its strong identity makes it worth checking out for fans of fantasy melee games. I would give Blades of Fire a 7.8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, like the video, subscribe for more honest gaming reviews, and let me know in the comments if Blades of Fire looks like your kind of action-adventure game.